You are standing at the edge of a well in the hottest city you have ever seen. The stone rim is worn smooth by 400 years of hands. There is gold dust in the cracks of the mortar, pressed into the grain of the rock by generations of fingers. The well is the oldest thing in the city. It was here before the walls, before the market, before the empire. Drums are beating in the square behind you, a steady rhythm that every person in the city knows by heart, the way a child knows a lullaby. The sound means the day has come. The rhythm means the girl has been chosen. She is walking toward you now. She is young. She is dressed in gold cloth and white cotton. She is singing. The melody is 4 notes, simple enough for a child to learn, and the words mean, I am the rain. She has been taught this song since the month her name was drawn. She does not stumble. She does not cry. She walks to the well as if she has always been walking toward it. The city watches. The mothers watch. The merchants in the gold dust market watch from behind their scales. The griots watch because their job is to remember, and they will remember her name alongside the names of every girl who came before her. She reaches the rim. She stops singing. She looks down into the dark. Something is moving in the water below. The Soninke people of West Africa have a name for what lives in that well. They call it the Bida, a black serpent with 7 heads, older than the empire it feeds. Every year it receives the most beautiful girl in the kingdom. Every year the rain comes. Every year the gold flows. No one has ever asked if the price is fair. Not until now. This is that story. Every culture has stories it tells after dark. Not fairy tales, not the ones for children, the other kind. The ones told in low voices, near the fire, when the night is too large and too quiet. Stories about what comes when you break the rules, when you wander too far, when you forget what your grandmother told you. These are those stories. Welcome to Folklore Reborn. This is episode 7, The Bida. The Sahel is the shore of the desert. The word comes from Arabic, and it means exactly that. The coast, the edge, the place where the sand meets something that can still sustain life. It stretches across the width of Africa, a band of semi-arid grassland between the Sahara to the north and the tropical forests to the south. The difference between a good year and a famine in the Sahel is 50 millimeters of rain. The difference between civilization and abandonment is a decade of below-average rainfall. In this landscape, sometime around the 3rd century, the Soninke people built an empire. They called it Wagadu. The Arab geographers who wrote about it from a distance called it Ghana, from the Soninke royal title. It was the first great empire of sub-Saharan Africa. It lasted roughly 800 years. Wagadu's wealth came from a simple geography. Gold was produced in the forests to the south by alluvial miners called the Wangara. Salt was mined in the Saharan deposits to the north and carried south by camel caravan. The Soninke controlled the exchange point. Salt moved south, gold moved north. The empire collected taxes on both. Al-Bakri, writing in 1068, described a capital city of stone houses and domed tombs, where dogs wore gold collars and horses were tethered with ropes of woven gold thread. This is the city the Bida fed, and this is what it cost. The legend says that the founder of the Soninke dynasty, a man named Dinga Cisse, arrived in the Sahel after a long migration. He found the land dry, the wells shallow, the soil unwilling. And beneath the earth, In a well that was deeper than any well should be, he found the Bida, a black serpent with 7 heads, coiled in the dark water, eyes the color of fire. Dinga struck a bargain. The serpent would guarantee rain, fertile soil, and gold from the earth. In exchange, the people of Wagadu would deliver to the well the most beautiful virgin girl in the kingdom, once per year. The girl would be dressed in gold and white. She would sing as she walked. She would descend into the dark. She would not return. The pact held for 400 years. Think about the landscape in which this bargain makes sense. The Sahel is not a place where rain is guaranteed. It is a place where the boundary between green savanna and dead desert can shift in a single season. 50 millimeters of rain, one way or the other, is the difference between full granaries and empty ones. A being that controls the rain controls everything. The cost of the bargain was 1 girl per year. The cost of no bargain was the death of the nation. In the arithmetic of survival, the calculation was simple. It was also monstrous. 400 sacrifices, 400 names. The griots kept every one. Think about what 400 years of a functioning pact means. It means the sacrifice was not a crisis. It was a civic institution. The selection process had rules. The ceremony had protocols. The families whose daughters were eligible were the horo, the free-born noble caste, the same people who ruled the empire and sat on the council of elders. The highest caste paid the highest price. The griots, the hereditary oral historians, recorded each name. The blacksmiths forged the gold that adorned the girl. The entire social structure participated. Everyone had a role. Everyone knew the cost. The well stood at the center of the city. People touched the rim as they passed. They left offerings of grain and gold dust in the crevices. They treated it with the reverence reserved for a temple, because it was one. And the god inside it ate their daughters, and the water was sweet, and the rain came every year. The mothers of the sacrificed girls are an unnamed presence in the griot traditions, a chorus of grief. Women who lost daughters to the well across generations, who attended the ceremony each year, who watched. Some griots say the mothers were silent because the system gave them no voice. Others say they organized in private and were overruled by the council. A few versions describe a mother who refused to give up her daughter and was exiled from the city, her name struck from the genealogies. The legend does not tell us what the mothers thought. It tells us the rain came. This is the fear the Bida encodes, and it is not the fear of a monster. It is the fear of a system that works. Functional systems extract costs. Someone pays. The price is paid by the powerless. The powerful benefit. Everyone agrees not to look too closely because the alternative is too frightening to consider. No rain, no gold, no empire. The granaries were full. The children had shoes. The girl was dead at the bottom of the well. All 3 of those things were true at the same time, and the people of Wagadu lived with all 3 for 4 centuries. The pact was broken by a man named Mamadi Sefe Dakote. In some tellings, his name is Samba Laminana, in others, Amadou the Silent. He was a warrior, he was young, and the girl chosen for that year's sacrifice was the woman he loved. Her name was Sia Yatabare. When the day came and Sia was led to the well, Mamadi hid at the rim with his sword. The drums beat, the city gathered. Sia walked the path in gold cloth and sang the 4-note melody that means, I am the rain. She reached the rim. The Bida rose from the water. 7 heads, each the size of a horse's torso, scales the color of wet stone, eyes burning like coals sunk in tar. It rose to take what it had been promised. Mamadi swung. The first head fell. The serpent recoiled into the water. The crowd screamed. Mamadi stood at the rim and waited. The Bida surfaced again, and Mamadi took the second head, the third. the fourth. 6 times the serpent rose, and 6 times the blade found its mark, and the water of the well turned black with blood, and the ground shook, and the people of Wagadu watched a warrior dismantle the engine of their prosperity, one stroke at a time. Before Mamadi could sever the 7th head, the Bida spoke. The oral tradition is precise about what it said. It cursed Wagadu. For 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days, neither rain nor gold would fall on the kingdom. Then the 7th head was cut, and the Bida died. In some versions, each severed head flew through the air and landed in a different region of West Africa, and wherever a head fell, gold appeared in the earth. The Bida's dying act was to scatter its wealth across the continent, giving to everyone what it had once given only to Wagadu. The curse held. The rains stopped. The wells dried. The gold vanished. The trade routes shifted. The empire fell. The Soninke scattered across West Africa in a migration that their oral tradition calls the Great Diaspora. Soninke trading communities can be found today from the Niger River to the Atlantic coast, in France, in the United States, each one carrying the memory of a city that was golden and a well that was dark. The historical record supports the legend's architecture. The Ghana Empire declined in the 11th century. The Almoravid invasion of 1076 disrupted the trade routes. Environmental evidence points to prolonged drought across the Sahel during the same period. The Soninke diaspora is documented, its genealogies traced, its communities mapped. The legend compresses invasion, drought, economic collapse, and mass migration into a single story: a serpent, a bargain, a sword, a curse. The question the legend forces on every listener is this: was Mamadi right? He saved Sia. He killed the Bida. He destroyed Wagadu. He chose one life over a system that sustained a civilization, one woman over the rain, love over gold. And the consequence of his heroism was the end of everything. The Soninke tradition does not condemn him. It does not vindicate him either. It records what happened. It recites his name alongside Sia's name, alongside the names of the 400 girls who came before her. It says, "This is what he did. This is what it cost. Decide for yourself." And that is what makes the Bida legend different from a simpler story about a hero killing a dragon. Mamadi is not fighting a parasite that has attached itself to the city. He is dismantling the engine. The Bida is not stealing from Wagadu. It is providing for Wagadu, at a price that Wagadu agreed to pay. The contract was honest. The terms were clear. The rain was real. The girls were really dead. And no one, for 400 years, said, "This is wrong." Not until a young man fell in love with the girl whose name was drawn. The number 7 runs through the legend like a vein through stone. 7 heads, 7 years, 7 months, 7 days. In Mande symbolic thought, 7 represents completeness. The Bida's 7 heads are the totality of its power. Severing all 7 destroys the pact completely. The curse mirrors the destruction, as total as the serpent itself, as total as the love that broke it. The Soninke griots are the hereditary keepers of this story. Their profession is their birthright. They are trained from childhood to memorize lineages, histories, and the words of legends with a precision that has been tested by scholars and found to hold across generations and across reciters. The Bida legend is a central text in their repertoire. They recite it at gatherings, at funerals, at the investiture of leaders. And they recite the names. Every name. 400 girls. The official record of the cost, maintained by the one group whose job it was to count. The Soninke did not disappear when Wagadu fell. They are 7 million strong across West Africa and beyond. The griot tradition is alive. The legend is recited. And the question it asks, which is really the oldest question about civilization itself, has no answer that does not cost something enormous. Is one girl's life worth an empire? Is any system worth what it feeds on? The archaeological site of Kumbi Saleh in southern Mauritania, which most scholars identify as the ruins of Wagadu, was first excavated in 1913. Stone buildings, extensive metalwork, and Arabic inscriptions confirm the presence of a sophisticated urban center, consistent with what the griots describe. The well at the center of the site has not been fully excavated. Its depth is unknown. Thanks for listening. Follow Folklore Reborn wherever you get your podcasts, and share it if you think these stories deserve to be heard. Every legend we tell here lives as a tabletop adventure you can play. Links are in the description. Next time. In the villages of Southeast Asia, there is a sound that freezes the blood. A woman crying in the night. She smells of frangipani flowers, beautiful, grieving, and wrong. The Pontianak died giving birth. She has not forgiven the living for surviving. The old stories were warnings.